Here with Jason Holder from the Barbados Royals. Jason, been a tricky start, but one win from three. Happy with that from where you sit in the tournament so far?
I wouldn't say I'm happy with it, but I guess the way the tournament has played out so far, teams are quite closely grouped. I think Trinidad, Guyana have all had the same results, so it makes the competition a little bit more interesting. For us, we're still yet to play a perfect game, and our guys know that, and I think it's important for us just to keep building as a unit. I strive to the guys in the dressing room just to stick together and keep communicating. And I think that we're going to start to find form in this tournament at the right stage. I think it's very important, obviously going into the back half of the tournament, to be peaking and then just gaining that momentum heading into the playoffs or the semi-finals.
There's been some, as you said, some good individual performances, but not necessarily those performances spread out across the team. Do you think that's what you're missing in terms of being 2 from 3 or 3 from 3 so far?
Yeah, I just think we haven't batted as consistently as we would like, and we know we have that area to really tighten up on. The wickets haven't been true, and it's not a case where I believe you could just go in and blast. But more or less, I think if you spend some time, give yourself a really good chance up front, then it gives you a better opportunity to score runs and make back up in the back half. I think this is a ground that you could traditionally score maybe between 10 to 14 runs per over in the last 5 overs. And I think it's something that most batters should probably look at in terms of giving themselves that really good chance and blast at the end.
Your bowling's been very good so far. We've seen O'Shane, yourself, Mohamed Amir, all doing well. Batting somewhat more of a concern. You haven't quite had that, really strong foundation for you to kick on towards those death overs? Yeah,
definitely batting is our concern. Well, I wouldn't say a major concern for us. It's just a matter for players just to give themselves a good chance. Get some momentum. T20 cricket is all about momentum, and I know the guys are understanding that more and more, as the days go on. I think we've come really close as a unit. It's good to have, some of the overseas players that we have in the dressing room who can share their experiences and knowledge with the locals. And I think likewise with the locals having the home advantage and they know how to play cricket here in the Caribbean, for them to share their experiences with the overseas players so they can have a better understanding of the conditions here. I think that's how we're going to get better as a side, and that's how we're going to group consistent performances going through the back end of the tournament.
O'Shane Thomas, so far, been one of the bowlers of the tournament. How refreshing is it to see O'Shane fit, firing and consistent?
It is really pleasing. I was personally along the journey to see what he was doing prior to this tournament. The Cricket West Indies have done an exceptional job in, keeping him around the group, working with his physical fitness and obviously his bowling. So to see what he's produced so far in the tournament is not really a surprise to me. We all know what O'Shane can produce. But it's just really good to see him doing it now on the big stage and getting back to where he was, when he first burst onto the scene.
You've had some moments with the bat. Glenn Phillips has done well. We've seen Azam Khan hitting some big shots. Have you got confidence that those boys are going to fire at some point in the not too distant future?
Yeah, full confidence, man. We had a really good practice session today as well too. So guys got a little bit more time in the middle to see the areas that they want to attack, a couple of weak areas which they probably need to brush up on. So it's just good. I just think we just need to keep building as a side. We're only 3 games into the competition. It is a relatively quick turnaround in between games, but I think more or less the guys are really confident that we can turn it around and make sure that we're peaking at the right time.
From your personal point of view, are you looking to look towards selection for that T20 World Cup? I mean, is that on your horizons?
It's out of my mind, to be honest, personally. I just think what is in front of me is us winning this competition. I think this competition means a lot to all of us. We're really excited to be playing another edition of CPL. It's dubbed as the biggest party in sport, and we thoroughly enjoy it. So Barbados Royals has won this competition before, but now I think it's an opportunity for the Barbados Royals to lift their first trophy. And I think it will mean a lot to us as Barbadians personally, and then a lot to us as a franchise. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to the T20 World Cup yet. There's quite a few things before that. When that time comes, we'll deal with it then. But me personally, I'm just so focused on winning this competition.
How important is it to have that experience within the squad of guys that won the competition in 2019? Obviously, last year was a tricky year for you guys, but I think it was a tricky year for 5 teams rather than just yourselves. But how important is it to kind of be sat there, especially if you think of with 2019, you guys didn't have a great start, then hit your straps at exactly the right time and won it. Does having that experience within the squad and within the franchise help?
It does go a long way. I think what's been great for our franchise is that we've been able to keep the nucleus of the squad together. One or two players have dropped out, a few new faces have come in, but more or less the morale and the personnel in the squad has been pretty much the same. So I think that breeds for consistency and building a group. We've been able to keep growing as individuals. A lot of us obviously know one another personally, and we've played a lot of cricket with and amongst one another for a number of years. So, look, I just think once we continue to get accustomed or acclimatized to these conditions, then we'll see the best of this team.
He came in relatively late, but how good is it to have Daniel Vittoria around the squad? Is he bringing something to you guys?
Dan has been great, man. He's just so calm and chilled in the dressing room, and he instills that confidence and that support throughout the entire team. I think everybody's really bought into what he's brought. So far we're still kind of obviously working with relationships and trying to understand each other. And I really enjoy so far working with Dan. Dan has been a great addition in my opinion, and I hope that he's here to stay for a number of years.
With it being a long-short competition, I think is what we've all decided. How important is it for those younger guys kicking around the squad, Naeem Young, Joshua Bishop? Are you expecting them to get game time, and are you confident that they'll perform when they do?
Definitely. Those are two outstanding youngsters. Both of them have done well in this competition before. They're obviously disappointed so far not to be playing, as everybody would like to be playing, but they will play a part in this competition, I'm sure. And I know that when they do get the opportunity, they'll grasp it with both hands. These are two quality young players. Not only Naeem and Joshua, but we've got a few younger players in the squad as well too, who I'm really excited to see get that opportunity. So hopefully things go in their way and they can get that opportunity and showcase their talent.
One of the things we've seen from the Royals so far this year is some outstanding stops in the field. You guys seem to be really on it from a fielding point of view. Is that something you're enjoying? I mean, it'd be nice if some of those amazing saves on the boundary turned into catches rather than saving runs. But is that something you're pleased about so far? Well,
credit to our fielding coach, Jonathan Carter, who's new in his role. Obviously, Jonathan has played for the Barbados Tridents before, but have him in this capacity, he's a buzzing guy, a guy who loves energy, and he's dubbed Hayden as the energy god in the field. So Hayden has to carry that tag and has to instill that energy or push that energy towards the entire group. Him and Glenn Phillips, I believe, have really led it. And Jonathan has really worked in tandem with these two in trying to create that energy, create that buzz amongst the group, so we can have good attitudes on the field. And so far so good. I think the guys have not done a bad job so far in the competition, but I think we still can obviously improve, and hopefully we can continue to raise that bar.
Jason Holder of the Barbados Royals, thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.